Yes, my name is Louis Orr. I'm the head men's basketball coach at Bowling Green State University. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Then you pound this guy. All right, then you pound. You got to duck him in. With all these guys up here, you pound him.
Well, it's a kind of a family tradition that in my family, my two older brothers played. You know, they were talented basketball players. My cousins, I was always around it, you know, since I can remember. And then I was a fan of basketball, always watched basketball on television and kept up with it in the newspaper. So it was just really my first love in sports was basketball because basically I was around it all the time. After graduating from Cincinnati Withrow High School in 1976, I got a basketball athletic scholarship from Syracuse University. I played at Syracuse University from 1976 to 1980. I played with for Coach Jim Boeheim. His first 4 years were my first 4 years, were my 4 years as a collegiate. So that's where I went to school. I graduated with a bachelor's in marketing and communication. And then out of college, I was drafted in the second round by the Indiana Pacers. I played for the Pacers for 2 years, and then I signed as a free agent with the New York Knicks and played 6 years with the Knicks, where I finished my career in 1988. Well, you know, God has a plan and a purpose for us all. I didn't, that wasn't really my aspiration. I was more, I mean, I was about playing. I liked playing the game. I stopped playing in 1930, excuse me. I stopped playing at the age of 30 in 1988, and because of a relationship I had developed with Coach Pete Gillen, who was the head basketball coach at Xavier University in Cincinnati, he brought me on as a volunteer for a couple of years. I think it was 90 and 91. I volunteered, and before that, I was a volunteer assistant for Withrow High School. Coach George Jackson, my old high school, for a year. So I basically got into it, helping out part-time, and, you know, God just kind of made it flourish, and I got an opportunity to be a full-time coach for the first time in 1993. And I've been coaching, I think this is my 19th year full-time. Could be wrong, maybe 18. You lose count after a while. But that's a new dynamic. You know, it's really a blessing. You don't get that opportunity much. It's something that I kind of had to grow into the job because I had never coached him on a team before. You know, we've worked out since he was a child, you know, in the gym, one-on-one or with his sister, Monica. But in terms of coaching him, it's been a positive experience. And God willing, you know, it will continue to grow. He's a hard worker, Chauncey, and a talented young guy. I think just being able to separate the father-son part of our relationship at times on the court probably is the biggest adjustment. But he's handling it well, and I think I'm getting better at it. And he's a hard worker, so it makes it a lot easier. I usually end with 4 things. I kind of call them kind of corny, but I kind of call it the C's for success. You know, and all these characteristics, adjectives, whatever, start with a C. First, talk about, you know, play with confidence. You know, you got to be a confident player when you go out there. You got to believe in yourself and your team. You got to communicate. Got to talk on the court. Got to constantly, early, loud, and continuous, always communicating on the court. You got to compete every possession. You got to be super competitive. You got to go after the game hard. You got to want it more. Can't take a possession off. And then you got to play with courage. You know, you can't allow fear to keep you from being making great plays and having the courage to make winning plays and play to your potential. So those four things I generally end my pregame talk with, because I know those are four things. If you do those four things, at least you'll give it your best and you won't hold anything back.